Hello, and thank you for attending our virtual Salud Outreach Health Fair. We are here today to talk to you about the COVID-19 testing process. Before we begin, we just want to let you know that the information provided is not intended to be a substitute for advice given by a qualified medical representative. Please contact your healthcare provider for any questions specific to you. We will be covering the following topics: the COVID-19 testing process, who should get tested, where one can get tested, and what websites to go on to look for testing locations. These locations are specific to the San Joaquin County and Stockton areas. If you are interested in getting a COVID-19 test, the first question you will be asked is, do you have symptoms of COVID-19? You will want to call your healthcare provider first. They will determine if a COVID-19 test is right for you. If you will be getting a COVID-19 test, there are two main types of tests available. The viral test, which can tell you if you have a current infection, or the antibody test, which might tell you if you had a past infection. There are different COVID-19 tests. Some tests may require a healthcare provider and are analyzed in the doctor's office or clinic. However, some samples may need to be sent out to a lab for the results to be determined. For example, a nose or throat swab, saliva samples, or other samples. There are also home tests where people can collect their own samples and run the test without having to send anything to a lab. These can be purchased online, but are not available everywhere. Please be careful when using online resources. It is best to first consult with the healthcare provider on your options. After getting tested, you may need to wait for the results. During this time, it is advised to self-quarantine and isolate yourself as much as possible. Wear a mask, wash your hands often with soap and water, use hand sanitizer if you are unable to wash your hands, and follow the advice of your healthcare provider or public health professional. After receiving your results, please read the information carefully. Contact your healthcare provider if you have any questions. If you test positive for COVID-19, take protective steps if you are sick. Continue to self-quarantine, wear a mask, and wash your hands often. If you test negative for COVID-19, you may have not been infected at this time when your sample was collected. A negative test does not mean you do not have the infection. It is possible to test positive at a later time. It is also still possible for you to get exposed to COVID-19 after a test and get infected. So, who should get tested? The first group who would be people with COVID-19 symptoms. Symptoms can appear 2 to 14 days after exposure, varying from mild to extremely severe illness. A few symptoms include fever, cough, shortness of breath, loss of taste or smell, fatigue, and many more. Some people do not experience any symptoms at all. Other candidates for testing would be those who have had close contact, meaning within 6 feet or for at least 15 minutes with someone who has tested positive for COVID-19. Additionally, people who have put themselves at higher risk for COVID-19 and cannot social distance due to traveling, attending large social or mass gatherings, and/or being in crowded indoor spaces should get tested. Lastly, those who have been asked or referred to get tested by their healthcare provider or a local or state health department should look into getting tested. Note that not everyone needs to be tested. Your healthcare provider can help you determine whether or not you need to get tested for COVID-19. If you need to get tested, there are some available COVID-19 tests in the local area. If you prefer to get tested at a hospital or centers in Stockton, Adventist Health Hospital, City of Tracy, Planned Parenthood, Dameron Hospital, Doctors of Hospital Manteca, Golden Valley Health Centers, Optum Serve, Project Baseline, San Joaquin General Hospital and Clinics, St. Joseph's Medical Center, or Sutter Stockton Medical Plaza in Tracy, which is a community hospital. Websites and phone numbers can be found here on the PowerPoint or on our flyer. If you, however, prefer to get tested at a pharmacy setting, there are chained community pharmacies that are offering drive-through tests, such as Walgreens, located on either Hammer Lane or on March Lane, and CVS located at Pacific Avenue. The website and phone numbers can be found here as well. Thank you so much for attending. Please stay safe.